is now my pleasure to declare Charles Musyoka Foundation, the Kenyan chapter, officially launched. The Kenyan system, we have what we call the 844 system. Well, the 8 excludes the pre-primary. So we have the pre-primary, which is defined as the Early Childhood Development Education, the ECDE. And then we have the 8 years of primary education, and then the 4 years in secondary education, and 4 years in university. That's the way it works here. The ECD, we also have a system of government where the different levels of education are allocated responsibilities to different levels of government. The ECD is managed by the county governments, which is more like state governments. And the rest, that is the class 1 to 8 of primary education, from 1 to form 4 for secondary education, and university education, that is managed by the national government. Well, currently we have a situation where the national government has pledged and has been subsidizing education at the lower level and at also the secondary and the university level. But the challenge that mostly that is found in our education system is that the capitation that is done by the national government to take care of those expenses is inadequate. And most schools have to complement that or supplement that amount with collections from parents. It is parents who have to pay for other expenses within the school, especially feeding, employment of staff who are not necessarily under the government but who are employed by the institutions themselves.
The education sector faces a lot of challenges, bearing in mind that most of the parents cannot afford such school fees which is being demanded by the schools which are well up. You know, there are schools which are of lower level, day schools. There are also some boarding schools which are also for lower levels. But the children who achieve high marks wouldn't like to go to those schools. So most of them end up either going to those lower level schools when they have been selected to attend to those higher level schools. But because of the poverty and the school fees which is not available, they end up going back to the schools of the lower level.
I went to school in 1958 after trying to go to school earlier, but I couldn't make it due to lack of fees. When I went to school, my mother paid only 20 shillings for me in the year 58 so that I would be admitted in Standard 1. After going to Standard 1, I did my KPE, Kenya Primary Examination 1965. I was admitted in a Form 1, but I couldn't go to Form 1 because of lack of fees. So I had to repeat the same class again. After repeating the same class in 1966, I was also admitted on a secondary school, but I could not go to school due to lack of fees. I had to repeat the school class 7, which was again due to lack of fees. After doing my exam in 1967, I passed, and fortunately I was admitted in a Kitui school. My mother had to go to a certain businessman who gave her 6 bags of maize in exchange of the maize that was growing in our shamba. I went to school. I learned with a lot of difficulties. I had to come from school home every day to school until 1971, when I was going to do for my Cambridge school certificate. Unfortunately, because lack of fees, I was chased away in the third term. September immediately opened. My mother had no money. And fortunately or unfortunately, my elder sister had been married, and the dowry that was paid was only 1 cow. And that cow was to be sold because I had to go back to school.
The society that I can define, if we could take our children, even if not to the university, if our students can go up to, after they complete Form 4, if they can get some vocational trainings, which they can be able to work for themselves.
Our education is job tailored. We rarely have education that targets talents which are developed for these children to be able to earn a living through exploitation of various talents that they are endowed with. So education is like the main key to everything. For you to get a good job, you must have education. For you to be able to access any other institution, you must have an education. So it becomes like children from some families will be condemned to poverty almost their entire lives if they cannot access education.
My name is Nicodemus.
Agnes Kasioka.
Paulo Nesmas.
I'm Tabina Malonza.
I'm Ezra Kideka.
Josephat Musyoka.
We have 12 children in our home. 8 sisters, 4 brothers. When I complete my primary education, there was problems of paying school fees. Like my parents were not able to pay school fees. Then I joined Form 1. I did not join the Form 1 at the time I was supposed to join Form 1 because of that issue of the school fees. I delayed for just around 1 month, then I joined Form 1. When we start the term 2, I had some issues of paying school fees because of my parents were not working. They were just staying here. They did not have job. I was going out for the school fees. Then I stayed at home just for almost 1 month, 3 weeks or 2 weeks because of that problems of the school fees. I complete the term 2, but the term 3 I attended only 1 week. Then I went away from school. I stayed at home.
So mi naitwa Agnes Kasioka. I'm in Form 3. Familia yetu, mamangu hakuolewa, alizaa akiwa msichana. Then akapatwa na ugonjwa, azimi si kunyonya. Nilikaa hivyo tu, nikalelewa hosi, nikakuwa mkubwa. Then shosha akateka, kaniendelea kunilea. Mamangu akaenda kufanya kazi. That is 09. Mamangu akaanza kungojeka, sasa kifua kikuu. Ikakuwa ni a big issue. Sasa akapelekwa hosi, akaadmitiwa, and that is 2010. Akaaga nikiwa class 4. Sasa masomo yangu, mimi nilisoma nikifisi tu some challenges. Naweza fukuzwa nitumwa school fee, as in nikiwa primary. Naenda namaliza for 1 week. Shosha anaenda kutafuta scraps, anaenda anauza, then ananipa pesa na naenda shule. After kufanya exam ya KCPE, I had 216 marks. hapo sasa hii holiday ya sikukuu, sasa shosha wangu akaniambia maybe naweza enda tailoring, niende nijifunze, nijue kushona. Then sikuwa na hiyo kitu ya kwenda shule. But sasa on January, uncle yangu mwingine akamwambia kama mamangu hakusoma lazima mimi nisome, na watatafuta venye tu nitasoma. Sasa hiyo foundation mimi naona ni nzuri. Juu hapo awali nilipokuwa na hiyo foundation nyingine nilikuwa natumwa tu, then wanakuja wanatafutia fees. Lakini siku hizi situmangu nyumbani. I can stay for school even a whole year without being sent at home.
Mamangu aliolewa, lakini baada ya kwa pregnancy yangu husband wake akakataa, akasema mtoto si wake. So akaanza kugombania. Hata nilipozaliwa nikachukuliwa na my grandmother, nikawa nyumbani na akarudi kwa husband wake. Wakakaa, nimelelewa na my grandmother.
Ni mtoto tu, alikuwa rafiki ya kijana wangu. Yule kijana mwenye ameenda kuongea na Charles pale since primary, alikuwa na aunti yake pale. But then wakafanya urafiki kutoka class 6. So she doesn't have a mother. Her mother was killed by a relative. So alikuwa anakaa pia kwa aunti yake, relative sister wa mamake. Sasa kutoka hapo jaka hata si kumchukua wakati akasomeshwa, akamaliza 8, akapelekwa secondary school Umbise, akadrop because of fee problems. Sio akafanya nini na aunti yake, akaenda kwa nyanya yake. Nyanya yake ni Zombe, ndiye alikuwa anakaa huko. Sasa akaja huku, akiwa huko ndiye akanicall, akaniambia mama Mwanzo, mimi niko huku na siwezi soma juu hakuna fee. Unaweza niruhusu nikae kwako hata kama ni kibarua nifanye? Nikamwambia ngoja kidogo, tutauliza kama unaweza rudi shuleni. So I talked to my husband, tukakaa, nikamwambia sasa, nikamwambia kuja, tukamtumia fare 200, akaja kutoka kwa akaja hapa.
Principal alikuja akasema anatafuta 2 children wenye wako obedience na wako best, wana perform vizuri na kitabia wako na tabia nzuri shuleni. Then mimi hata sikuwa najua zaidi. So nilikuja tu siku moja nikaitwa na mwalimu kwa ofisi, akaniuliza maswali kama tu haya mnaniuliza, nikajibu, akaandika, akanipiga picha na akatuma. Akaniambia atanitoa information after 2 weeks. Information nilitoka nilifanya kuitiwa fee. Nilifanya kuitiwa fee ikiwa imelipwa, nikapatiwa, nikatolewa photocopy, nikaleta nyumbani.
Come from Katulan district. I was brought up in a family of 5, we were brought up by our mom. It's just a single family. It was very hard. You know the challenges of single parents. We face a lot of challenges, and even going to school was very difficult. The foundation, I knew about it after I cleared my class 8 through Madam Katusi. She's the one who, my mom came to work from a new place. Then she told her that she had a child who had just completed class 8, and they called me. I had been taken to ID school. I just went there for about 1 week, and then the madam called me and they took me to this school. I have been in school. I have not been sent for school fees. I'm always in school.
We are 6 children and I'm the firstborn. Wazazi wangu wote wako, lakini mamangu amengojeka, ameharibika jicho moja. Na watoto wangu wetu wanasoma. Mmoja kwa class 6, mwingine 5, mwingine nursery, na mwingine anaenda shule. Wazazi wangu hawafanyi kazi. So kuna shida ya chakula, kuna shida ya even school fees for my siblings and shida tu za even our house. Our principal alituita kwa ofisi akatuambia juu ya hii foundation, akatuambia kuna imekuja na inachukua watoto the needy students. Then akatuita akatupiga picha, akatuambia tugoje results. Baadaye akatuambia tumefaulu. This time nilikuwa natumwa nyumbani nakaa even for almost a term. Nikirudi shule nakuta watu washasoma. Sasa najitahidi tu, natia bidii nasoma.
In my family, we are born 7 and I'm the firstborn, and I grew up in such a background which was poor, and being in a family of 7, my parents could not afford to cater for the 7 children in both food, money, and even to pay for the school fees. After I had finished the class 8, I did not have anywhere to go. So I just went home waiting for the results. When the results were released, it was announced that I was the best one in our school. I scored 355, and the letter which came, I had been selected in St. Paul's Kevote, and because of the journey to go to there, it's very far. So I had to go to a nearby day school, but because there was no even a single cent, I did not make it. So I had to stay at home for some period of time. I had to call Madam Katusia, and after I had called her, she told me to come and report to her home. The following day I came. After I had reported, he told me to come with the letter to the school which I had been selected to. Then I came with it and we agreed, and she told me that she'll go with it and come and give me the report. After she had come the following day, she came with a letter from Kitui School and told me that not to be afraid, I'm going to learn, and she told me to go home, bid farewell to my parents, and come prepared to go to school.
Normally, bursary systems that operate in this country tend to target children who are highly gifted academically. Targeting children who are highly gifted academically for support, in most cases, leaves out a good chunk of the population, a good chunk of the student population in this country that need an opportunity just to break from the bottom to a position where we can say they're equipped to fend for themselves. This foundation will target the needy children.
Most of the youth that we have in Kitui, it is not that they have not gone to school. Most of them have gone up to class 8, where now, instead of going ahead, due to lack of fees and the poverty around, they start other things which cannot help them.
Stress za fees ikanitokea, at least napatanga time nzuri ya kusoma shuleni, sifukuzangi.
Since I got this opportunity, my life has not been the same again. I'm always working hard in school so that I may attain my goals. I am aiming to get an A-, and when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer.
I want to be either a lawyer or a doctor.
My aim is to get a B+ and above. And go to University of Nairobi to do things related to medicine.